Hello everyone. So part 4. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna continue what we did in the last one. So the last one we make use of GraphQL and MongoDB to create a user. We can sign up and log in, but we don't have kind of like authentication for the front end. So this is what we're gonna do. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna set up the JWT token creation and verify, and also we're gonna make use of the context for the GraphQL to make sure the user is always authenticated on the route who need to be authenticated. So when we left the last episode, what we make it's I can sign up and receive my user in my email as the response. So again, this is the graphical app I put in the description in the last one. And here I can create a tweet, and I can still create tweet if I'm not logged in. I'm not logged in at all here. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make sure only a user who is authenticated in the app can create the tweet. So this is what we're gonna do. So first thing, what I want to do too, it's I want to thanks Ben Awad here, who have an awesome channel about GraphQL, and sometime when I get stuck on my past app, I came here and watched a lot of its tutorial about GraphQL, and he have a lot. So a big thank you for you. So I'm gonna put its YouTube link in the description. So that was this thing. So what we're gonna do? So the first thing what we're gonna do, it's we're gonna set up a new schema type where we're gonna finally return a token what we're gonna create. For the one who don't know what is a JWT is a JSON Web Token, who is finally like kind of a string who have like a crypted version of a lot of stuff in your app, and finally inside that we're gonna have the user object. So if we go to jwt.io, you're gonna see what I mean. This side here, like here is kind of the JWT, and inside the decode version, when we decode that, we get a payload where we have the user status. So a JWT can expire, can do stuff like that. So finally, it's a way to don't use like cookies and stuff like that, and make use of a serverless way of authentication. Why we make use of it? It's just because it's really good for mobile app. Plus, we can also use it in like in web and stuff like this. So if you want to push your app after that in the web with the same server, that's gonna be pretty easy. So here we're gonna first thing create the schema about the authentication. So what I like to make is I'm gonna create here inside the schema, I'm gonna create another type called auth. So that's gonna be the type of authentication in here. What we're gonna return is gonna be a string. It's for sure we're gonna return a string, the token string. After that, here I'm gonna change my user at both sides here. By doing Command D, I can select both. Control D, I think, for the Windows user. And now here I'm gonna return the authentication. So now if I do this and I go to my graphical, the thing about my sign up, it's now anymore that don't gonna take anymore the username, but that's gonna take like the token. So this is what we're gonna return. So if we go to the mutation, now we know we return an authentication, and that's gonna be a token string. So that's where we're gonna start. So the first thing I like to do, I like to module my stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a folder inside my source, and I'm gonna call that services. Inside this one, I'm gonna create a new services called auth.js. So this is where I'm gonna put all my stuff about authentication. And here, what I want to do before, it's I want to create a method on my user to create the token, because right now I can create my service, but my service don't gonna make sense for you if you don't see how I can create this thing. So the first thing I want you to do is go to your terminal and add a new package called jsonwebtoken. So this package is a package built by the team of auth, who have built finally a JSON Web Token generator and make your life easier. So here, what we're gonna do, it's at the top, we're gonna import JWT coming from the JSON Web Token package we just create. After that, like you know, I really like to module my stuff. I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna create another function in my method, create token. Here, I'm gonna return the JWT.sign, and this one take 3 arguments. So if we check here, it take 3 arguments, and it take like the payload, the secret, and other option. So here, the payload, what I want to have inside my JWT token. So when I mean the payload is this thing here. So I would keep this one, I think. It's this payload here. So for me, the only thing I want to return here is the ID of the user. I don't want to return nothing else for now. So I'm going to say underscore ID to keep my code convention with the MongoDB, and I'm going to say this .id because remember, that's going to be an instance of the user, and that this is going to be the user himself. After that, here I need to put my secret. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my config folder, I'm going to go to my constants, and I'm going to create a new variable here called JWT secret, and I'm going to put a secret for now. So this is a secret 123. So that's going to be my secret for now. And then I'm going to jump at the top here, and I'm going to import my constants object coming from my config constants, and like that. And now here what I can do is I can say take my constants, that JWT secret, to be the password for the token, so the secret. And I don't want to expire because for this tutorial we don't make it expire, so we're gonna just keep it like that. So now we know we can create a token. So we can already make use of it. It's gonna be pretty simple. We can jump on the GraphQL resolver user, and now here what we can do, it's now we're gonna create this thing as an async function. And now here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say const user equal avoid that user that create. So we're gonna finish the premises of the user create. So this way we can make use of the user object to return the token. So now here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna return like my JWT asked it for. So inside my schema, that need to be an object with a token inside. So I'm gonna say token, and now what I'm gonna say it's user that create token. So the function we just create inside the user object right there. So now if my server still work, perfect, it work. Now I'm gonna jump on my graphical app, and now if I send that, I'm supposed to receive a token. And now if I send, boom, now I get my token. So now I can play with this token, and that's going to be my way to make authentication. So inside this token, when I decode this thing, I'm going to get the ID of the user. So this is how you can make kind of serverless, not serverless, but I mean stateless authentication in your app. So you don't keep state, because on every request, we're going to send the token in the headers. And inside the headers, when we get that, we're going to make it accessible on each resolver. And this way, we're going to make sure on every request, the user is a real user in your app. So we sure we don't let someone else coming in your app, and that's a thing. So now here, what I'm gonna do, it's I'm gonna go inside my out service, inside my source, and I'm gonna import my JWT from jsonwebtoken, so the JWT library. Here after that, what I'm gonna do, it's I'm gonna import my constants object where I can get my JWT secret. One sec, like that, config constants, and now here I'm gonna import a function called Decode Token. This function is gonna take a token, and here we're gonna split this token inside an array. Why, you may be asked? It's because like that. What I want, it's this token gonna start with bearer, and after that I'm gonna have my token. So this way I want to split this token. I want to make sure the R0, so the first index here, gonna equal bearer, cause else here I'm gonna throw an error, a new error, and I'm gonna say token it's not valid because I want to have the bearer. So this way we make sure at least my client, like my front-end dev, so that's gonna be us for this tutorial, know you need to put the bearer on every request. So this way we just know that like someone can came here and maybe like put something like that. Yes, this is the token, but if you don't know how that works, so you see what I mean. So here now I get my token. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to return the gwt.verify with a function synchronous, really important to know, that verify a given token using a secret or a public key and decode this token. So this way, I'm going to put the R1, because remember, that was bearer like that, and the second is a token. And now here what I'm going to say is I'm going to say constant that GWT secret. So now I'm going to verify this is a valid GWT for my coming from my client. But now the question is, okay, yes, here we can decode, but how are we going to put that in your code? So before we go there, we're going to do a cleanup in the code. So why do this right now? It's because we have not a lot of code, so time to make it. So I'm going to create a file called middleware.js here inside my configuration. As you know, for the one who follow me on my other tutorial, it's I like to module my stuff, and this is almost like always the same kind of pattern I'm always using. So inside this one, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to export default a function who take a nap. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump to my index, and now I'm going to take all this app that use, and I'm going to take it outside. So I'm going to take this one here. I'm going to jump on my middleware, and now I'm going to make my code like that. After that, I'm going to go at the top in my index. I'm going to take back the index, my body parser, sorry. So now my body parser is not anymore in red. After that, I need my graphical, so now I can import this thing. So ESLint, it's awesome for that. Like that. And now I need my constants. So my constant is going to be pretty easy to import. We are just next to it, like that. And now I need my schema. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my schema inside here. Now I need my make executable schema. I'm going to take this one. Don't worry, the code going to be in the repo, and so you can check where we are. And now I need to get my type def and my resolver. So I'm going to put it right there. But now this is coming in more from 2 like that. And now we're good. But now to make sure it still works, I'm going to remove this thing. I'm going to go here. I'm going to import my middleware function from my config middleware, just to make sure it's normal. If this thing is gonna not break, but yeah, it's not gonna break. But now if I send something, now that's gonna break. So that's why, because here now I'm gonna say middleware, middleware, and I'm gonna put my app inside that. Look at your terminal, it's supposed to all work. Now if I jump there, and now I can sign up. Perfect. So we came back at what we was before, but now everything is inside the middleware. So we finally keep the index just to make the beginning of the app. Perfect. So now we did one thing. Second thing we need to do is to make a middleware for the authentication port. We can make use of passport JS and stuff like that, but the thing is, if I make use of passport, that's going to be on every route, and I don't want that. So you're going to see what I mean. So here we're going to create a function called out, rec, res, and next. So this is how we create a middleware inside Express. There's going to be a try catch because we're going to have some promises inside that. Asynchronous code, and I want to take it. After that, I'm going to say const token going to be equal to rec, that headers, because rec it's an object where we have an headers, and then inside that I want to have it from the headers called authorization. After that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if token it's not null. Why I do only one null and not like that is because if I would do this thing, I make sure that if it's undefined, I get this error, because not strict on a null give you the undefined too. So after that, I'm going to say const user equal await, and now here I'm going to call my function decode, the one we just create. So I'm going to say from the services out, I'm going to get my decode function, and now I'm going to say await decode, and now I'm going to pass my token in. And remember, this token is going to come with bearer, so that's why my decode take it and split it. After that, I'm going to take my rec.user. So inside my rec, I'm going to create a new object called user, and inside that I'm going to say equal user. After that, I'm going to run an ESLint disable line, because I'm gonna get an error. If not, and that's gonna be no param reassigned. And because we're gonna have more than one, I can take this one and I'm gonna come here like that. I'm gonna say ESLint disable, no param reassigned. Else, if we have no token, I'm gonna just say rec.user equal null. So this way, I make sure, like, if I have no token, my rec.user, the object gonna be null. And finally here, I'm gonna return next. So we don't stop the code right there. After that, we need to make sure we use this out, and I'm gonna do app.use, and I'm gonna say here out, like that. So here we make sure we make use of it as a middleware for the app. So now, if you follow the pattern, what's gonna happen? It's on each request, we're gonna check if the user have a headers authorization, and if he does, he's gonna take it and we're gonna decode it. We're gonna get the user ID on it. We're gonna put it inside a user inside the request object, and after that we can make use of it. But for make use of it, we need to go down here and put a callback right there where we're gonna say rec. So for the request, and now we're gonna wrap this thing inside that, so we don't need to return. So here the rec we're gonna return an object where here I can say context, where I can say user gonna be equal to rec.user. So I'm gonna have a context inside my my GraphQL, and that's gonna be an object, and inside this object I'm gonna have the user who's gonna be equal to the user object who have the ID in. I hope that makes sense. That will make sense when we're gonna work with it. So perfect. So now we're good to go. So just for showing you what we can make use, it's I can go inside my example, my tweet resolver, right there. And now I'm gonna put it inside the create resolver for now. I'm gonna create like that, like this. So here, what I'm gonna do, it's here. I'm gonna return that because if I don't return, that's gonna break. In here, I'm gonna have the context. And now if I console log context, and I do ctx like that, just to make sure my code is not breaking. Perfect, now I'm going. So what I'm gonna do, it's I'm gonna first thing sign up, take this token, go inside my create token, go inside the headers, create a header, so that's gonna come like that, authorization. After that, I'm gonna say bearer, really important, and I paste my token right there. Now if I save, now if I run, my create tweet is okay. But now look what happened right there. This is the context where I get my user object and where I have now my ID in it. So this is the ID of my user. So now I can make use of it and do what I want with it. But now, as you can see, I can still continue to create. Just for showing you, I can come here, delete my headers, and now if I send, I can keep create because we don't require my user to be authenticated. And this is why we're gonna jump back to the services authentication, and we're gonna create a function called require authentication. So jump back to your out services, and we're gonna create a function here. We're gonna be async, and we're gonna call that require out. This one gonna take the user object. Inside this one, we're gonna do some checkout first. If no user or no user that underscore ID, we're gonna throw a new error called rise like that, like this. So now I can make use of this inside my tweet resolver. So I'm gonna jump at the top. I'm gonna say import from services out. Now I can say require out. Now I'm gonna transform this create tweet inside an async because now I'm gonna do await require out. And inside this one, now I need to put my context. I can do this by doing context.user like that. But again, I can destructuring this thing by doing user, and now I can say user only, like that. And now for showing you that work, what I can do, it's came here, I have no headers, and now I create, and now I get unauthorized. As you can see now, that work, and this is what we want. So the require out work, but now we're gonna need to refactor some stuff here. So here I want every resolver here to have this require out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it right there, and now I'm gonna make it async, and because that's gonna be all about async, I'm gonna do a try catch on all that. I'm gonna say throw error, and on all of them I'm gonna all say await require out. Take the user coming in from my context like that, and here I'm gonna return finally this function, and you need to do this on every one here. So try catch, throw error. So that we jump that, we're gonna return. Here we do await, so we make sure we have an async one. Here we see require out. I pass the user. So here we need to do underscore because we don't gonna make use of it, and user. Remember, this is always the third argument. After that, here we have already, so we can just jump the try catch, throw an error, and here we're gonna return and keep doing. That's gonna we're gonna have it. So here we're gonna take the user. I'm gonna do the try catch, throw the error. Oops, throw error, and here we're gonna do await require out. Put the user, and now here I can return this thing, and we make sure this is an async. And finally this one where I'm gonna put the user. Here we have already, so before we can do require out and user. Perfect. If I check here, nothing is very perfect. We're good to go. So again, I'm gonna just test it. Create tweet don't work. Get tweet maybe with a S because I don't want to pass an ID. Don't work. When you see unitarize, perfect. This is what we want. So now we're gonna need to manage something. So another thing I want to do too, I want to get the information of my query user, and I want to show you then with that, with the ID, we can do what everything we need for, and you're gonna see that right there. So first thing, I'm gonna create inside my schema another type. I'm gonna call that me. So that thing, this is what I told in my other tutorial about the Node.js REST API. Always remember that the app used by the query user, it's its app. So what I mean by that, it's everything happening in the server for him. It's always about him, not about someone else. That's why we have authentication. We make sure this is this one. So think about the user as a viewer. So this is the viewer, and maybe here we want to get the information of him. So example, after he do the login, we want to maybe fetch again, get all the information about him, and get like his avatar and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy paste all of that, and I'm gonna say me right there. Again, why you paste it there? It's maybe in the next one we're gonna manage other stuff about this, and that's why. So here I'm gonna say me, and I'm gonna create another query right there called me, and this one gonna return me, nothing more. Me return me. After that, to make sure all my stuff work, I'm gonna jump on the user resolver, and this is where we're gonna manage the me. So here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna import my require out from my services call out, and now I'm gonna create a me, who's gonna be another async function. And now here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say args like that, where I'm gonna have the user in the context, because the me gonna only happen if the user is there. That's gonna be a try catch, where I can throw the error, throw error. So now what I can do is I can do const me equal await user that find by ID, and pass it the user that underscore ID, and here I can return the me. But what I want to do, but I want before await require out and get the user that underscore ID. So what I'm going to show you this thing first. like that. And here we're gonna change all that too. We're gonna just create that inside a try cat because we have some missing. I forget to put that inside the other one. We're gonna make good code. I don't want you to get bad habit like I have a lot. Like that, perfect. So now what I'm gonna show you is this me. So go back in your resolver first and put the me here. Put user resolver, that me. Perfect. So now make sure the app is still working. Perfect. So we're gonna first thing sign up a user because remember every time the app refresh we move everything. So now first thing we're gonna sign up. Now if I call my me, so if I call my me, where I have my ID, my email, and maybe like my username, if I do this right now, I get unitarized. So now after my so I'm gonna just log because oh yeah, okay, I see, I forget to do something inside my user resolver. Here I return the user, but this is not what we want to return. Here we want to return token, while we return the create token. So that was a good bug, that was a good error because I forget to do this. So here I'm gonna sign up. Perfect. Now I get my token. I'm gonna jump on my me. I'm gonna go to my headers. I'm gonna take this thing. After the error, I'm gonna save it. And now if I check that, now I get unitarized. What happening? Oops, because I say user that underscore ID, and remember inside the hot service we already do this. We're gonna get it, don't worry. So sign up. So that's why you see I remove all the user. It's because I want to make sure I can just keep continue to make this one. Now if I save, now I get the me. Now I get my user, my stuff, because I get my ID. So if I say, oh, maybe I want to have my, I don't know, like my first name, my last name, boom. So this is me, this is my stuff. Perfect, now that works. But now what I'm gonna show you is what I want to show you is this thing. Now I can create a tweet. So I'm gonna create a tweet. So I'm gonna do a mutation, create tweet with a text, hello world. I'm gonna want to have the ID and the text about what I've created. I'm gonna go to the HTTP. I'm gonna say authorization. I'm gonna say bearer. I'm gonna put my bearer right there. Now if I send, I can get what? Sure, I see. One sec. Sorry. Hello world. ID and text. Now you see I can still continue to write tweet. But now the thing is, look at that. I'm gonna restart my server. RS. This is how you can restart with Wonmin. Yeah, like that. Now I have it. Now I can get there. So you remember, I have my GWT. My GWT gonna be still work. But now look what happened. I still work, but my GWT is not working. Why? It's because, yes, I decode my stuff here, but maybe my old user, I've created a account, get the token, delete his account, and after that I can still work with the app, and this is really not what we want. So how we can manage that, you're gonna see. So we're gonna do finally two things in one. We're gonna jump on the out here, and I'm gonna import my user model. How we can manage this error is by doing here a checkup, where I can say current me equal await user that find by ID with the user that underscore ID, because remember we're gonna have access to it. If I say if not me, here now I'm gonna say the same error. So finally the user is not there, and we're gonna return it. So this way we can make use of it. So now by doing this, what I mean, it's now if I go back to my here, and now I send, now I get unitarized because my GWT now it's not below someone. So this is perfect, this is what we want. But now what we can make use of like the second thing I told you, it's now in my me, I can change my resolver right there where I do user that find by ID, but because now remember, every request we're gonna check if the user exists. So I have it, and I'm returning it right there. I do return me. So that's gonna be the user himself. So now that makes your life easier. We can jump here, and now I can say const me equal. No, const me equal. I will require out because now I return the object, and now I can return the me like that. So now, if I do this and I jump back here, now I get my error. So now I'm gonna sign up first. I sign up. Boom. I go to my me. I go to my HTTP. I remove everything. Space, error, save, and now if I send, boom, I get my user. Now in my create, I get unauthorized. I get there. I put my real GWT, so keep it, paste it, save. And now if I send, boom, now I can create. And just to make sure, I go there, and now you see, I create tweet. So this is perfect. This is what we want. So now, as you can see, we have access to the user on every request, or the ID, because a lot of time we're just gonna make use of the ID. And why I don't want to use kind of passport and stuff like that is because if I make use of the passport and stuff like this, they're gonna work on every route. And now my sign up and my login cannot be done with the GraphQL, because remember, the GraphQL always start with the same the same kind of URL in the same middleware. So perfect. So we are almost done with the server. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create the tweet below the user. We're gonna do the favorite thing. So I mean the likes. So this is what we forget. After that, we're gonna do some other stuff. So finally, what I think is we're gonna have done the server in the next part. So part 6, that's gonna be about the mobile stuff, because yes, we're gonna have a lot to do. So I hope you enjoy. Again, I'm gonna put all the link in the description about the Ben Awad YouTube channel and my repo. And after that, too, you can comment on my video. I'm gonna respond, and you can like if you like this thing, and share it. I hope you enjoy. Have a good day. Bye.